Hello everyone, welcome to Testing Trainer YouTube channel. In this session, we are going to discuss requirement analysis in software testing. In previous session, we discussed software testing lifecycle, and you know very well that the first phase of software testing lifecycle is requirement analysis, right? Now, what is requirement? Requirement, the word requirement, if you all know, like if you're from English background, so requirement is if we need to do something, we need a requirement, right? And requirement specification is a way of communicating the user's needs to the any team, product team. Okay, consider it like any product team. So it's just a need. Requirement is a need. Okay, let's see what is a requirement with some basic example. So birthday cake. Now, one of your friend or daughter or son are going to celebrate a birthday and so on so date. So you are going to order a birthday cake a week ago or a couple of days ago. I mean, couple of days before or a week before you're going to order the birthday cake. So you go to the shop and so you need to give the requirement, right? You need to tell them. So the person who's working in the bakery, so they will get the client name, date, when do they need the cake, and what is the theme and concept. So it see to make it clear, not every time a person is going to give all those requirements, but if they want a specific themed cake, okay, so they and specific themed and with all the designs or anything, then they need to give this requirement, right? So they need to give the theme, flavor, what type of cake, what type of filling they want, and all the shapes, colors, etc. And this is a requirement for a birthday cake, right? So similarly, so this person needs a cake. So he went to a cake shop and gave a requirement details. Now I need a software. So I go to a software shop or a software company and I need to give the requirement. If my software is going to be a very simple, then it's going to be a simple requirement. But if my software is going to be complex, then what I'm going to give is a complex requirement, right? Let's see a sample requirement for login. Okay, because if you take any application, so there will be a login screen, right? And there it will have so many other pages, screens, functionality. Like if we take e-commerce website, it will have a login screen. On top of it, will have lots of functionalities like adding a product into cart, payment, sorting, filtering, searching. So there will be so many functionalities. But to make things simple for you all, so I just took a simple login requirement. Okay, this is a sample requirement for login page. So if you see the 1.1, user should be able to see the username and password text box in the login page. They're saying you should be able to see the username and password text box. Okay, and they're saying login button should be available and user should be able to select it. Okay, so the login button should be available and user should be able to select the login button. Upon entering the username and password, user should be able to log in successfully and a success prompt should be displayed. So on entering the username password, when I click login, and we should be able to log in successfully. This is the requirement. Okay. Now, people who are all watching the video, you all know that what is requirement, right? In software, this is a requirement. Now, next question. All good. We got it. What is requirement? Now, what is requirement analysis? Okay. So, analyzing the requirements or user stories. In Agile, we call it as user stories or other test related artifacts or documents. That is called requirement analysis. Okay. So, now user stories or actually requirements, okay, but it's drafted in a different format, right? And business requirements or generic business requirements, it's a document, it's also a document big. For example, a 20 page or 100-page document that draft details about how the sorting in a web page should look like, how to filter it, all those details. Now this document will be the test basis for it to execute the testing. So this is going to be the baseline or test basis, like this is the backbone to perform testing, okay? And analyzing the document, in order to understand the functionality and acceptance criteria, we need to, first of all, we as a tester, we all need to read the document, okay? Reading a document is very simple, right? You're just going to read the document. So reading the document is to understand the document and understanding the functionality and acceptance criteria. Okay, what is this user story is all about? I'll give an example. So first of all, if we have a functional requirement, we need to read the requirement and understand, okay, what the requirement actually says. If you're reading and if you're not able to understand, just read it few more times, okay? But you completed your reading, you understood the requirement. Okay, now I completely understood the requirement. Now I know what how it should be. Now next stage is analyzing the requirement. What is analyzing the requirement? See see from an user perspective, all the details are available in the requirement document. Okay, so login. Okay, now you can ask a question. You can ask any question whatever you have in terms of requirement. Okay, so I will now, I'm the tester. I'm going to, I've tracked, like I'm going to read this requirement. I read the requirement and now I have a question. Okay, I have a login option and cancel option, everything is there. But what about if I enter a wrong password and then I somehow I forgot my password? How can I get it back? How can I reset my password? Is the option available? So you need to ask the question to the business BA, business analyst, or the person who drafted the requirement. Check with them, like whether are we going to have a link or button to reset the password. So they may intentionally avoid that because they might be having that in a different page or something. But the way, like in order to analyze properly, we need to ask the questions. What are all the questions you have on reading the requirement? You need to ask it to BA. Okay, that is one way of testing. Okay, so testing is not generally about entering the username, password, login, and see whether login is successful. It is not all about that. Okay, so it is also about reading the requirement, understanding if there is any gaps that you need to fill it. Okay, that is also that we call that as a static testing. Okay, there is a two different concept called static testing and dynamic testing. In static testing, you understand, you find the defects in the documents, and you review the test cases or code, and then you find it out the issues in the early stages. Okay, so basically requirement analysis is nothing but analyze the requirement, ask the questions, and understand the gaps, and try to find the gaps and issues in early stages. Before actually going to testing, you're going to find some issues or any additional gaps in testing in this requirement analysis phase. So this is a short summary of what is requirement analysis, and we will also going to do some other requirement analysis and in more in the next sessions. So please do watch the next videos as well. Thank you.